Hello, Shatterpointers, point shatterers, chat folk, whatever. Welcome! I'm excited because my favorite third-party token makers were kind enough to send me a batch of their new Shatterpoint tokens to review for you. By the Same Token is a company based out of the UK that makes gorgeous tokens for a variety of games. For my purposes, I really like their Star Wars ones. And if you go to their store at buythesametoken.com and use the code Jodo10 at checkout, you'll get 10% off your order. Cool. So I've grabbed a few of their tokens for Star Wars Legion and their entire set of tokens for Outer Rim, and I love them. One of the things I like most is basically what's in the name, Buy the Same Token. Most of their tokens don't go too far in trying to redesign the original they're meant to replace, which I love because I hate when somebody has a third-party token and I can't immediately identify what it's supposed to be. With this Shatterpoint set of tokens, I feel like I've taken a little more leeway than I'm used to when it comes with being true to the original design of the tokens. So let's take a look at these Shatterpoint tokens and see what exactly is up with them, what's good about them, what's bad, what's problematic, how do they hold up. I'm just going to go through all the different tokens and tell you what I think of each one, because it's worth noting that these can be bought separately and you don't need to buy them as a full set if you'd rather pick and choose. First off, let's look at the damage tokens. These are a huge departure from the ones that come with the game, but I think these are a great improvement. They're all double-sided, which is nice when adding or removing just one damage. Their smaller profile means so much less clutter on your cards. I really love these. Next, let's look at the hunker tokens. The shape is the same, the icon is the same. The color's much more orange now, but I think that works because the exposed token's already yellow, so I don't know, it stands out better. Not much to say about this one, it's good. Force tokens. The design on this one is a little different, evoking more of the Jedi Order symbol, which is fine, even though,
that force does not belong to the Jedi.
I think there's slightly less contrast between the active and inactive sides now, but during gameplay, it's still very apparent, and you're not going to get confused. I really like these. Wounded/injured tokens. These ones are a bit more stylized than their cardboard counterparts, and I really like the look of them. For some reason, my brain has an easier time saying, yes, this is wounded and this is injured, than I had with the cardboard ones, which felt, backwards to me. The injured token now feels much more aggressive, too. Like, ouch, I'm injured. These are stellar. All right, condition tokens. These have slightly different designs than the originals, but I think they improve on the original designs, particularly the disarmed and pinned tokens. Disarmed now looks like a blaster falling out of someone's hand, which to me evokes the concept of disarmed better. For pinned, the design is fairly similar, but feels more like a no sign over the arrow rather than a little slash in the arrow, which looks more like a hey, you can't move sort of concept icon. I don't know. I think these just look better to me. Exposed and strain are fine. I feel like strain could have had 3 blood drops on it to indicate strain gives you 3 damage, but whatever. All these tokens really pop on the table. The colors are even more vibrant than the originals. These are really cool. Okay, let's get to the controversial stuff. Never thought there'd be controversial tokens, did you? Objectives, control, and priority tokens. The objective tokens are fine. They look nice. The design is a little different and perhaps a little more dull than the original, but they look nice. The issue is how they interact with the control and priority tokens. The control tokens are these gorgeous little Jedi and Sith holocrons that are made to slot into the objective tokens. They're genuinely so pretty. But I feel like they've been slightly over-engineered. There's really no gameplay need for them to be standing upright. It can sort of make it more visible, but only from some angles. If you're glancing at it from the side, you might not be able to immediately tell who's controlling this objective, depending on the lighting. Obviously, they're different colors, but still. That's not where the real issue is. The problem is that objective tokens are really busy places with lots of foot traffic. Characters are frequently going to be standing on these tokens, which these control tokens will sadly often get in the way of. The other much more minor issue is that now these are two distinct tokens rather than a two-sided token, so changing control of an objective takes more effort. Yeah, that feels petty. How much effort is it to grab another token? Not much, but still, compared to flipping a token over, it feels like a lot, and it slows down the flow of the game just ever so slightly. I think these would be perfect if they somehow stood upright on their own, rather than slotting into the objective, so they could easily be moved out of the way of passers-by. As it is, you'll often just lay them on the floor next to the objective, like you do with the standard one, which looks sort of weird with that little nub hanging off the bottom, but it's fine. This isn't a deal breaker for me, but the intended design doesn't help the flow of the game. I might end up just using them without slotting them in, or trying to rig up something that'll help them stand upright on their own, or only slotting them into low traffic objectives, because they do look really pretty when slotted into the objectives. As for the priority tokens, they have a similar, but not as noticeable issue. The priority tokens are these fancy little rings that just sort of slot onto an objective token, which looks really slick. These won't get in the way of people standing on them like the objective tokens, but high traffic objectives will still interfere with their intended usage simply because slotting the ring onto the objective might require lifting up minis, which can feel like a lot of work for a token that only stays put for one turn. Overall, the priority ring doesn't feel like much of a hassle, and it looks really cool. It just sort of can look weird if you have a case where you don't want to move all the minis on top of an objective, and you just end up placing it nearby. So in conclusion, I really love this set of tokens. I truly think these are the best looking tokens out of any of the alternatives I've seen out there so far. However, keep in mind the issues with the control tokens if you're thinking about buying these. Also, I just want to point out that these come with the same number of tokens as the core set. So if you're like me and you are the one supplying all of the game supplies and you're playing with a friend, if you get these, you will still have enough for 2 players worth of tokens. But like I said before, you don't have to buy those if you don't want. You can pick and choose what tokens you want from their store, or buy the full set without the objective stuff, which would be my recommendation for anyone iffy on the control tokens issues. And remember, use the code JODO10 at checkout and you'll get 10% off your order. As far as I know, this should work on all products on their store, not just the Shatterpoint tokens. That's Jodo10 at checkout for 10% off. There's so many cool tokens on their store. I still need to get the Rebellion ones. All right, back to playing more Shatterpoint.